Mr. Constantine.
Thank you very much, Chair. I've got a few points, a few questions that I'd like answers to. One was with regard to the comments on the health service, the NHS. I don't think that we are ready. I had recent conversations with a nurse who has 3 children, and her response to Brexit is this: she doesn't know how she's going to be prepared for Brexit if we have a hard Brexit, and she has to find a way into work and she has to stay nearby to a hospital. I think there's a whole swathe of issues to do with how we provide services inside the NHS, inside education, with some key industries. It makes me wonder what exactly can be expected of people, especially parents. The second point was with regard to 3.3 and about Ramsgate Port. I mean, I would repeat again that Ramsgate Port is severely limited. It might have been put in scope as an additional access point for freight, etc. But the facts are there is no infrastructure there. The port isn't now ship-ready since TDC took a decision not to continue to fund the port, to keep it ship-ready. There are also existing contracts at that port, particularly GEFCO and Brett's, and I'm sure none of us want to see another Eurotunnel situation where we have to pay because of loss of earnings to a third party. With regard to Manston, I would repeat that, again, it's got no infrastructure there, and especially if we have a hard Brexit, and people will be expected to be there for a long time, and we're talking about between upwards of 6,500 vehicles. That site seems to me to be really ill-prepared. I drove past it this morning. I drove onto the site last week to have a look at it. Actually, the best description of the Manston site now is to say it actually looks festival-ready with its row of portaloos. It doesn't look ready to be hard-standing for a huge number of freight vehicles. And of course, I'm still concerned that it will severely hamper egress and access from Thanet to other places and people coming on to Thanet. And my last point is with regard to 9.1, which is the cost and spend for KCC Brexit planning. KCC could be facing significant, but as yet unquantified additional costs. Well, we are 9 days away. I think that's really quite telling. And my final point is just to remind this committee that I've spoken with very many parents, actually, whose children are extremely anxious about Brexit because it's all they're hearing on the news. And I've got parents that I know are stockpiling because they are so worried.